And welcome to 7 Days to Die. This is a fun little game that I've been kind of peeking around at for a while, and I've played it a bunch of times, but I've never done an LP. Figured I'd go ahead and do one, which is so consistent with my personality, starting too many projects and not finishing them. We're going to go on Navezgane, the main world map that's kind of custom designed. The random map is getting pretty good, and actually, in some ways, it's a lot better to have that level of unfamiliarity, but I'm not that familiar with Navezgane, so I'm going to go ahead and use that default map. I'm going to do the loot respawn time, 20 days. I'll turn up the airdrops a little bit, just kind of tweaking some of these settings, but the main thing to keep in mind, Nomad difficulty, 18-hour days. Zombies are going to run at night, but only at night. And 60-minute total cycles. So let's go ahead and get this started. Now I'm going to kind of take this like a kind of a tutorial. I'm just going to kind of explain the basics as I go, so I hope that's enjoyable for a format. You know, and like they give you some starting quests, but it's really not overwhelmingly helpful. Okay, so they give you the starting quest. Now we are in a desert, which is good and bad. It's good because we have yucca and some other resources available. It's bad because you can overheat, and I just don't think it looks that good. Not a lot of loot there. So what I'm going to be doing immediately is looking for small stones, plant fiber, wood, and feathers, and I'm also going to add yucca to that list as well. Yucca was this type of plant here that I gathered. These are a great source of both food and water if you're in a desert biome, and I certainly will be farming it later. Wood is this stuff here. I'm not going to get that one because there's faster ways of getting wood. I am going to grab one aloe vera. I might grab more later. But really, those basic resources are what you want to start grabbing, and boy, I'm not seeing a lot of stone. These little trash piles you want to search, these contain loot a lot of the time, and the loot can be anything from really good to really shitty, but it is where you find some of the more rare items in the game, and so you do want to be always looting these things. They're so ubiquitous that you really don't want to miss your chance to loot them. And there's a pig already. I do not have the ability to take him on, so I'm going to ignore him. They can attack, and you don't want that, so boy, I am not seeing any small stones for some reason. I'm not sure if that's if I'm missing something or what, but I really need to find some before. Okay, there's one. I think I need like 5 of them, maybe 3. I could punch this with my fist until it breaks off, but that takes forever, so I'm going to keep looting around here. I'm actually going to take just a minute and see if I can ascertain where on the map I'm located. I don't know this map very well, actually, but I just kind of want to get a sense of whether I'm in a corner or in the middle or what. So let's go ahead and pull up the map. You do that by pushing M. By the way, you collect things. Ooh, that's red. That must be like a dangerous biome. If I scroll out with the mouse wheel and go all the way to the right, I appear to be about in the middle, laterally, and then at the top for sure. Or I'm sorry, at the bottom for sure. So I do want to check out what that biome is over there to the south, just to see what it is. So I'm going to head this way while I'm doing my gathering. Then I'm going to head back to this house and loot it once I have some basic resources. Now, it tells you to go ahead and focus on your bedroll first, and we can do that by pressing tab and typing in bed. You'll find bedroll. Go ahead and craft that, and that'll be crafted in the background while I'm doing other stuff. I don't know what oh, this is a nuclear radiation zone. Okay, yeah. Ouch. Holy crap. I almost died. You know what? I've never dealt with that before. I think you need like a hazmat suit to go in there. So I'm not going to go in there. If I go in there even for another second, I'm going to die. So, note to self. Oh, that's an interesting road sign. So I'm 3 hours north of Phoenix, it looks like. Interesting. I wonder if that's realistic, like if that's accurate on a map. I'll have to look at that. But anyway, I think what I'd like to do is move towards one corner of the map. You know, I do kind of want to be somewhat centralized. I'm going to be careful not to go in the direction of that radiation zone. To pick things up, it tells you on the screen you push E. Use WASD as your directional controls here. Let me see if I can build an axe. Okay, to build an axe, I need 4 stones. I only have 3, so I do need 1 more stone. I'm constantly gathering these feathers. I'm going to need just about as many of those as I can get. The good news about the desert is they do tend to have a lot of nests, or at least they're easier to see or something. But I'm just gathering as I go. There we go. Okay. So once you get the axe, things get quite a bit easier in terms of gathering. Okay. Since I'm playing by myself, by the way, I'm going to get rid of this land claim block. I don't really need it. When you get things in your inventory that you don't need, you can scrap them for primary components that comprise that item typically. Okay, so I'm going to head back towards this house now that I have an axe, and we're going to take a look in there. You can see you can chop this wood. There's that boar again. I'm still not ready to take him on. I might be after the house. Okay, so I'm going to grab that. The egg I can make into food in a little bit. Food becomes an issue quite early in this game. Okay. I'm getting plenty of feathers, which is great. Okay. And with the axe, like here, oh, there's this, you can go ahead and just chop this with the axe, and you see I get 1 stone per chop, which is a lot faster than finding it in nature. So, and eventually when we get better tools, we'll get a lot more than that per chop. But this is how you start out. You start out real slow like this. I'm going to be playing a very nomadic character at first. I think a lot of people like to settle down pretty quickly. I like to be nomadic until I find a really good base. So we're going to try that as much as possible. It's kind of difficult because you have to limit what you can carry, and you have to only carry things that are useful. At some point you have to start discarding things that are not useful, like this paper. I should probably just start discarding right now. Not useful at this point. The nails I should scrap. I'm going to be collecting 3 primary metals. I'm going to put brass here. This is lead, iron, and brass. Those are your 3 main metals. I'm going to scrap this iron thing as well. I'm going to grab that chair and scrap it as well. When you enter a house for the first time, you do want to look around a little bit. Make sure there's no danger. I'm going to grab this candle. I might use it. I might not. Ooh, there's a guy up there. I don't know. I don't want to wake him up. Let's move on. There's a box on the 2nd floor. It's really tricky to get to that. Okay, so, and the chairs you can go ahead and scrap. They'll become wood. So, let's move on. Let's kind of pick a direction and start traveling. So, if I'm here, and this is the bottom of the map, top of the map's way up here, so I think I'm going to head north. I already decided I'm pretty much right in the middle. So if I head north, I'll hit the middle of the map. But I do kind of want to be somewhat centrally located so that I can branch out from there. I think it'll be easier to store my stuff once I do settle down. Oh, there's something. Easier to store my stuff once I do settle down if it's more accessible from multiple places. Alright, so I'm gathering quite a bit of this yucca. Wood, stone, and plant fibers are the 3 sort of primitive materials that you'll need quite a bit of. By the way, these ones that have like stick textures, they turn into wood, not plant fiber. Every other plant that you hit like this turns into plant fiber. 25 miles an hour, we'll keep that in mind. And I'm pretty sure this is the area of the country that I recently drove through. I recently drove from Phoenix, Arizona to Des Moines, Iowa, and I went through Utah and then the Colorado Rockies. So I think I'm in like Utah kind of area right now. these roads are clearly grown over. This is a zombie apocalypse game, so you'll get a lot of this where the roads grown over. Okay, and I did craft that bedroll earlier, and the quest is wanting me to set it down. I guess I'm gonna pick it back up, but I'm gonna have it on my hotbar because I do want to avoid having to respawn randomly in some inconvenient location. And the best way to do that is to have your bedroll and put it down, because that's where you're going to respawn if you die, if you have an active bedroll. Okay, so I'm getting just some basic resources. I probably need to start thinking about streamlining this process and not collecting every old resource that comes along. And I see this zombie walking towards me here, so I'm going to go ahead and craft a club. And I can actually do an iron club because I have iron there, so let's get that going. I'm going to move my axe to the second position, keep the iron reinforced club in my first position. That's just the way I play. You can play however you'd like at home. And we've got this guy's attention, so he's going to come towards me. Now when this iron club gets done, I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking on zombies this early in the game, but you can. You can hit them with the axe, but the club has a stun feature, and it also does more damage. I think I'll take a look at the damage in a second, but go for headshots. We will be making a bow soon, and when he falls down, just nail him in the head. You get triple damage, and triple damage headshots with an iron reinforced club at this stage of the game is a pretty good shot. If you go to the inventory, you can click on your items, and so you can see the axe does 4.18 insta damage. This does about twice that, so you know we definitely want to be using this. I think a regular club is something like 7. This is like 9 something. I can't remember exactly. Okay, so this, I think I've got enough wood, stone, and fiber to. I guess I'll pick up small stones if I see them, but otherwise I think I'm good. You can also get stones from hitting these boulders. You're gonna get some iron ore along with it, and maybe some lead and possibly nitrate as well, and possibly coal. I just got a lump of coal there. Now this is okay. This does take a while. It's much better to do this with the pickaxe. But if you need stone, this is a good way to sort of artificially increase your stone amount. You run out of stamina. The blue bar in the bottom left is stamina. And the more action you take, the more stamina you lose. When you start losing stamina, you start to become quite a bit less effective. Alright, this guy's looking for a fight. Gonna go for those headshots. Hopefully stun him and get him on the ground. Without stamina, though, this is kind of dangerous because I can't run away. So I'm gonna turn and run and get a little distance, put a little stamina on my bar, and wait for him to get close. I'll do it again. Oh, there he goes. Okay, I guess I could have just done that. And if you get these guys a few headshots while they're on the ground, they should die. If they don't, just try to back up and keep doing this. I don't recommend, especially for beginners, to use a club to take on zombies early in the game. I'm gonna be scrapping a lot of glass items as well, so you might as well consider that. It's almost a third ore. Also, with this raw iron, I mean, you could keep it, and it's more efficient to keep it. But I'm gonna go ahead and scrap it. This would turn into 30 iron in a forge. You're gonna see it turns into less than that in my inventory. I don't know how much it was. I kind of want to test that now. Okay, so let me just get one more piece of iron. Okay, I have to repair. So you can repair your objects by clicking repair. Stone axe requires a stone to repair. Other objects require other things to repair. So I'm getting a little bit more stone and whatnot here. These are all the resources you get from hitting boulders are resources that I deem at sort of the highest level of need for this game. So I almost always want these resources anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off this boulder real quick, and then we'll do a test to see how much scrapping that iron gives us versus the. It would give you 5 in a forge per unit, and I think if you scrap it, it's something like 2. So we'll take a look at that. It's gonna... I do increase skills over time. The main one that you'll see get increased a lot is athletics, but since I'm doing construction activity, I guess this counts as construction, sort of mining or lumberjacking or things like that. It's going to give me points in construction tools. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what this iron scrap is down to. So 14, I've got 74 right now. And it tells me actually it's going to give me 52. So that is 14, 28, 30, yeah, I guess that would be like 3 point something that I got from that. So that's interesting. 52 is what? 14 times what? 28, 30, 42, 56 would be 4. So, you know, 52 is less than 4. This is like a hotel or something. I'm not going to go through and loot this. I just got some painkillers there. I am going to move on. I might come back and loot this some other day. There's probably some good stuff in there, but I really would like to find a more central location with more other things. This is the Ostrich Hotel. Okay, so, and it's kind of cool. Like a lot of these little locations, oh, there's a bird. You want to be careful about those birds. A lot of these locations that you'll run into have specific names, especially on the Knaves game map, because I'm just going to call this hotel. Okay. You can set waypoints by right-clicking on your map and then clicking Save Waypoint. So on this particular map, they've actually done a nice. Ooh, there's a lot of birds. I don't like those birds. Will fuck you up. So you gotta be careful about those. I also don't want to stand right in front of this hotel very long because I have the feeling that if I do, I'm gonna get attacked by zombies from the hotel. That appears to be like a church in the middle of the desert. This appears to be a fairly decent road, so let's go over here. I see something off in the distance over there. If you're playing this for the first time, I might recommend finding a somewhat isolated area, maybe a house or something, and trying to just make that into your base. Ooh, these little guys are little nodes, and they contain, yeah, this is a lead node. And those are going to be important later in the game, because there's different minerals that have different types of nodes. I have found that the random gen map, which is interesting, does not do as good of a job managing ore, and therefore you end up with regions that don't have any of one type of ore at all, and then you have overwhelming abundance of other types of ore, and so that's why I decided to go with this very well created map versus some random map that may or may not turn out very good. Okay, I'm just gonna, ooh, there's a guy. Okay, so I lost quite a bit of health by going to that radiation zone, and so there's a couple of things I can do about that. Alright, so what I can do about that is I can eat something. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this can of chili. I'm gonna go, see, my water is at 69. I can also take these painkillers, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's going to give me quite a bit of health. It's going to deplete my thirst quite a bit, though, so I'm also going to have this bottled water, which may or may not be a mistake. Now, as you can see, I have an empty can, an empty bottle of water, or a glass jar now. I'm doing that, but my health is rising quite noticeably, as you can see there. Now, I can always refill my glass of water with yucca juice, and that is a good way of relieving thirst. And as long as you have, I think it's 4 yucca plants, you can always do that. So that's kind of an unlimited source of clean drinking, if you want to think of it that way. As long as you have at least one jar and a bunch of yucca, you'll theoretically never go. These lead fishing weights can scrap into lead, by the way. So there's 2 there, and I think what are they going to give me? 3.5 per. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't memorize the exchange rates for scrapping. And technically, by the way, it is more efficient, and people will say this, it is more efficient to go ahead and not scrap things and to just put it in your forge when you get a forge raw. But the problem is if you're nomadic, or if you're at least temporarily nomadic like I am, you don't have room to hold on to 17 different types of lead items and 18 types of brass items. You have to scrap them into one single pile, and then you can get up to, I think it's 6,000 units of them. So from an inventory standpoint, you do want to go ahead and scrap those typically, unless you're in an area that's close to your forge, and then you just stick it in your forge directly. Okay, so I'm heading towards this. This appears to be maybe a military base. Again, I don't know this map at all, so I am discovering things with you for the first time. As you can see, my health has recovered quite nicely. We're up to 60 now. I'm just off the road. I think it does make some sense to travel just a little bit off the road here. You can find those feathers in the nests a little bit more easily. You can still see the road in case something of interest pops up. And you can also get these yucca plants, which until I get a stack of, yeah, I might try to get 2 stacks of 50 of those. They're just gonna be a godsend. You can search these cars as long as they still have paint on them. That's how you know that they're still, you know, in good enough condition to be searched. If they're a metal frame of a car, you really can't search those. You can still get resources if you have a wrench, but you really just can't search them straight up. You know, this military base is a tempting target to kind of take a look at. There's a stripper zombie, by the way. You gotta love those. Okay, it's dead. Good, more painkillers. Antibiotics, by the way, are probably the most valuable medical resource, followed by a med kit. Antibiotics cure zombie infection, whereas a med kit will heal a lot of hit points without draining your thirst. Painkillers heal a little bit of hit points, and they drain your thirst dramatically. And they only work like in isolated amounts, so it's kind of a minor heal, whereas the med kit's a major heal. I'm very concerned about getting approached by zombies from multiple angles and not realizing it until it's too late. If you do get attacked by a zombie, you might have an issue where you get infected, or you get a wound that causes you to bleed. And if that happens, then you need medical supplies to deal with it. Okay, so we're here at this army base. Now, I'm sure it's going to be full of army guys, which are dangerous to me right now. I don't want to deal with them, so I'm going to move on. I know this is a generated structure that I've dealt with in random maps before, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. I don't need that. But I'm going to go ahead and save this location on the map by right-clicking. Zoom in a little here. Let's call it military base. Okay. So now I can come back to that if I'd like to. But let's head north. That was always our goal, to head north. If I see a little house, see, I'm not going to stop and loot a big thing like this, but if I do see like a house, like an isolated house, I probably will loot that. The main reason being, I'd really like some more glass jars. I've got just the one, and I can make yucca juice. Oops, I stepped on a cactus. There's these little cacti that look like this, that if you step on, you take 2 or 3 damage. Alright, the speed limit's increased to 35. That's good. You'd think it would be like 55 in here. Oh shoot. We do not like birds. This one's gonna come back and harass me. So if you run into a bird, you want to be shift moving away from it constantly. You do not want it to get close to you. It will almost certainly infect you if it gets a hit off. Yikes. So and they don't have that many hit points, so as long as you can shift move around a little and get let it get close to you, and then you shift in and hit it, you should be able to kill it fairly easily. But you got to be real careful. And you got to be in control of the encounter. Don't let the bird control the encounter. Okay, I got it there. Got it there. Maybe one more should do it, hopefully. Oh, one more. This bird appears to be bugged out. Its movement is very erratic. It's not even attacking me. Boy, I guess my, the last time I was fighting birds, I had a much more experienced character, so, okay, there we go. Now you can chop this guy up with your axe a little bit and get some feathers. Eventually you'll have, some, tools that'll be a little bit more functional for this purpose, but might as well get the feathers. I mean, that's a lot of, I'm doing well on feathers. Okay, so, moving on, let me go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go ahead and scrap my axe, and then I'm going to go ahead and make a new one because the quest wants me to. So I'm going to click craft, and then that's going to complete the quest. Okay, so while that's loading up the next quest, I'm going to run past this guy. I'm not going to fight him. The fat ones are tough. Just a rule of thumb, the fatter the zombie, the tougher they are. The skinnier they are, the less tough they are. And you know, if you're comfortable doing this, you might as well kill a few zombies on your way if you're traveling. But I'd recommend using the bow, which we're going to be building here shortly if you can, rather than melee, because it's a lot safer. But you do get experience points in various things from killing zombies, and you get loot, which is always great. Okay, that zombie just hurt itself on the cactus. That's another good thing about the desert, is you do get dumb zombies that hit cactuses. And this one lost its limb on the cactus, so it has to crawl now, making it a lot less dangerous, a lot easier to kill. You do want to keep your distance, though, even with a crippled zombie. I think I'm getting a little heat stroke, so if you start getting heat stroke, what you want to do is you want to drink liquids. So I'm going to go ahead and make some yucca juice here. Nice thing about yucca juice is you don't need a fire to craft it. So while that's crafting, I'm going to keep going. And 3, 2, 1, and yucca juice. And we're going to go ahead and drink that, and then I'm going to make another one. I'm at 65. There. So that's not bad. You do want to keep your hydration up because it fights off heat stroke, but it also helps maintain wellness. In order to get this thing in the game called wellness, which is sort of your like long-term health, if you want to think of it that way, hit points being your immediate health. In order to keep your wellness up, you have to have good hunger and thirst satisfaction. So just keep that in mind. You do want to watch that. In order to check that out, by the way, if you click, go to this, and then you click on character, and this is a cool drink status that helps with my heat stroke, but you can see how you're doing on food and water here, and then if you get low, it'll tell you on this main overview screen. We've got another bird flying around here, and we do have a structure coming up on the right. And so I'm going to probably try to stop at this structure. Now you can see the time of day up there. It's 4:50. 1650 is 4:50. That means it's getting kind of close to night. Night time is 10 o'clock with these settings. Okay, see how I did that? I moved out of his path, and then I turned and hit him. See, he's going to turn back around and go for me again, I'm sure. I recommend it for new players to run from these birds, because they're no good. Where'd he go? No idea where that bird went. I'm a little concerned, but I think if I go into this little gas station, I should be okay from the bird. You do want to keep your eyes on them, though. Okay. Cottonseed I don't really need. I'm going to scrap the candlestick. And I'm going to search this car. And the garbage can. We'll go ahead and scrap that. I don't need the paper. Paper, I always, you know, I'm just so tempted to always hold on to. And then eventually I realize that I really don't need the paper, so I throw it away. Paper is useful for basically explosives and shotgun ammunition. And blunderbuss ammunition. I've never used a blunderbuss. So it's, you know, something that's ubiquitous. You can get it everywhere. I wouldn't worry about it at this stage in the game at all. Okay, so you use your stone axe to break into a metal door like this. Now you gotta watch out because a lot of times there are these zombies in these buildings. Some of them are called sleeper zombies, which are zombies that are present but which are not active until you get close to them. Tape, always useful. There's a room back there. I'm gonna not loot. Okay, that's the side door. I'm gonna go through and loot this building thoroughly, but before I do, I'm gonna go into the back door. Mushroom spore could be useful. Bullet casings at some point I'm gonna start keeping as such, because they're very valuable, but for now I'm gonna scrap them into brass. Same with bullet tips. Bullet tips scrap into lead. That's why lead and brass are such important metals in this game. They're how you make bullets, and bullets are important. Interestingly enough, there were no zombies in this building. And we probably would have heard them by now if there were anyway. That door appears, so that's the side room. I'm just trying to get a... When you go into a building for the first time, and especially if you're not that familiar with it, you do want to kind of get a sense of whether these doors are internal or external. If they're external, you need to break them down again. But if they're internal, you might consider breaking them down just to see what's behind it. I think I might well stay here for the night. It is 6 o'clock. I could travel for another 4 hours, but it's risky. As you can see, this is the progress we made. So quite a ways. The hotel, the army base, and now the gas station. I think I will stay here for the night. Nighttime lasts 6 hours in this game, at least with these default kind of settings. Okay, this is the bathroom. Check these medicine cabinets. Sometimes they have medicine. These cabinets often have bottles. And this is bottled murky water. I'm going to hold on to that if I can. Eventually, once I get enough bottles of stuff, I'm going to start scrapping those. But for now, I'm going to hold on to that. Check the toilets. They have bottled murky water often. And then, one thing I could do, I could go ahead and craft a door. Yeah, it's only 4 wood. I'll go ahead and craft a couple doors. Just to make my stay here a little safer. So the doors that kind of default in this game are locked, and they're pain in the ass because you got to break it down like this. But if you create a door, then you can open it freely. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just replacing these pain in the ass doors with actual, decent doors that I can utilize. My axe is gonna need a repair here in a second. Now you can create a new one. I'm just gonna go ahead and repair it for the sake of convenience. I'm gonna start scrapping these empty cans. I'm not gonna need cans. Cans you can use as sort of a backup instead of jars for your water management. And you need them for a couple other things, but you really don't need them in general for this game very often. Okay, so now I have a relatively secure, I wouldn't say secure, but certainly enclosed space. And that goes to the outside, I think we determined. These are the currency of the game, by the way, the main currency, Duke's chips. Okay. So let's go ahead and loot all these little containers. And these little guys have beer a lot of the time in glass jars. And bottled water, which is even better than murky water. Okay. Get these cupboards. Nitrate powder. Good stuff. In your game, you may want to not hold on to nitrate powder, because it is going to be a ways until we can actually create gunpowder. But in my game, I'm going to hold on to them. Inventory management is always going to be a thing. Like, these electrical parts I would like, and I guess I'll take them, but I know I'm gonna have to get rid of them at some point to make room for something else, because they're so far away from being useful to me right now. They'll be useful. They'll be very useful later. Okay, more beer. Beer is good because it gives you a stamina boost. Ooh, this wrench. This is a godsend. I'm gonna put that in my hotbar. That's also a good item. Ooh, you know what? I just realized something. Yep, okay, I was gonna say I didn't have a cooking pot. That would have made my night here a little uncomfortable. Okay, so now I have a full inventory, by the way. I searched all of the containers in this building, I believe. Before nighttime does fall, I mean, I feel very good about my current situation. I'm trying to see if there's any buildings off in the distance, because I do want to utilize daytime hours. That place was nice. I think I'm gonna risk it and move on. I have another 2.5 hours until it becomes nighttime, even though you can hear the crickets already. So I think I'm gonna risk it and move on from there. If I get to the edge of the desert, by the way, I'm gonna not be able to get yucca anymore, so just something to keep in mind. Oh, shotgun schematic. Anytime you come across a schematic, especially in a single player game, you do want to read it right away. And that one's a little bit better than the one I have. It's got more durability right now, so I'll go ahead and scrap my used one and get the newer one. Drink that. There's some sort of building up there. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to go all the way over to that building. But that's an interesting shape there. Just an arch. I feel like I'm in the sort of Moab, Utah area in this game. Which is right by Arches National Park in real life. I need to make a decision right about here where I want to stay the night. There's a little tent campground here I could check out. And I could easily survive in that tent. Maybe I should just do that. Those cactuses can kind of freak you out a little bit. It's a treasure map. I guess I could take that. Usually there'll be a couple zombies at these little campsites, but there's really pretty good loot. Alright. The main thing to keep in mind is that when you get ready for nighttime, zombies run. Oh, there we go. Oh, shoot, I got hit. That's why you want to be careful with the melee weapons here. Another one. Yeah, this is a dangerous situation. I have no stamina. If I were smart, I'd pull out my beer, but I just don't have the... Here, I'll just do this. So let's grab beer, use that quickly, and now my stamina is going to recover a lot more quickly, and this is good for fighting. Okay, good. And then, okay, he's gonna, ow. Okay, so we have defeated the zombies guarding this camp. Always an impressive accomplishment in the early game. Let's go ahead and eat that and make room. I'll go ahead and scrap this can. Grab these feathers quick. Grab the stone. Okay, and they do turn into these little piles of flesh. And I think those piles of flesh actually can, over time, attract other zombies. So you do want to be careful about that. Can I scrap that? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and scrap that. I'll find another one of those pretty easily. Okay, and we are now full on feathers, which is great. So what you want to do to prepare for nighttime is secure your little area real quick, which is what I'm doing now. Make sure you have the supplies you're going to need for the nighttime, which is basically some basic crafting supplies. Let me finish securing the area real quick. I do have some extra feathers that if I do create some arrows, I'm going to have the ability to replenish my feather supply before I leave. Okay, nothing there. I'm just checking the. Ooh, I kind of want to keep that. Come back to it. That, yeah, I can scrap that. And then let's check this cooler. I'll take that, I'll scrap that, and I'll eat. I'm just going to eat this right directly from this container, and it's going to cause me to gain a little bit more health. I am lucky that in that encounter just now, I did not get infected or bleeding. Bleeding is a pain in the ass. You can die, you can bleed out. I'm going to go ahead and kill this one before it becomes nighttime, because I don't want zombies around coming to get me at night. And it turns night in half an hour. I do want that moldy bread. I'll scrap that. Oh, crap. Oh boy, okay, drop that. I knew I was gonna have to. I'll scrap that. Okay, I gotta hurry. I know that moldy bread doesn't seem appetizing, but believe me, it is a good item. It is how you create antibiotics. And you'll need those. Okay, see this body of water? I'm gonna real quick. I'm getting really close to the time where I need to really be inside. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab, right-click this body of water and grab some lake water there. And that gives me another bottle of murky water. Alright, let me just finish securing the area. I've got 10 minutes. 9, 8, 7. No, sorry, I went a little fast. Ooh, ear of corn. Can I grab that? Okay. Yes, I can. Okay. Excellent. That ear of corn I'm going to be growing corn with later. I'm going to have... Oh, I know what I'll do. Drop that. Okay, that ominous sound means the zombies are going to start running now. So what you want to do, ideally, is find a place. Now, I do feel a little exposed because these walls are very thin, and easily breakable by zombies. But you do want to crouch at this point. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to put my bedroll down just in case I do die overnight. I'm going to minimize my movement, but I'm going to keep an eye on that door. If a zombie does get in, I do have the ability to fight it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and hook up 15 bottled water. I'm also going to keep eating. I'm 84% full on food, 91 on water. And if I keep eating, I can keep making room with things that I don't need, like that. First thing I'm going to craft is a campfire. You need a Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my clothing first, because that's what the quest is. So these are the clothing you need to make, so what you do is you type in... So I need pants, shirt, hood, shoes, and gloves. The one I don't need is the hat. And you can click on those and click wear. I'm going to go ahead and throw my candle on the ground just so I have something to see. I think that'll help with the video quality as well. Okay, so we'll wear that, and wear that. Okay, so now I have my plant fiber outfit on. And it's going to automatically complete my next one because it just said wear all of the stuff we just made. Now it wants me to craft a wooden club. I've already done this. Just complete the quest. Let's go ahead and do that. And then I'll go ahead and immediately scrap that just for the wood. And it'll bring up the next one. I don't need the wooden club because I have an iron reinforced club already. Now it wants me to do a bow and arrow. And I was waiting on this one. So the bow is just that. I'll go ahead and put that in my hotbar. And then arrows, you need these three ingredients here. So I have the fewest wood, so that's what is going to be lacking. But I'll go ahead and create maximum number of arrows there. Well, that's going. I'm going to process this guy into a corn seed. I think that's... I don't want to be tempted to eat that. Same with the aloe vera. I'm going to go ahead and do seeds on that. And I'm going to do one full stack of yucca seeds as well. Oops, I'm doing all of my empty yucca seeds. That's fine. So many yucca plants around. It's just good to be thinking about the future, and the future involves farming. And I guess, you know, arguably I should, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and stop arrow production at 35 to go, because I need some wood left over. And that'll be enough arrows to get me for now. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm gonna do wood frame. Wood frame is the next quest item. It wants me to do 3 wood frames. This is sort of a teach you how to build kind of a thing. So I'm going to let that kind of play out. Now if I do need some more wood from in here, I could cautiously get my axe out. Just grab that. Maybe I can grab this one. I could actually grab these chairs real quick. This is very dangerous, because if a zombie spots me, I'll be in real trouble, but I did get through that. And then what you do with the chair is just go ahead and scrap those. These seeds are taking forever to make. In the meantime, you can go ahead and read the treasure map if you really want to. Treasure map basically just gives you an item on the map that it wants you to find, so in this case, yeah, it's there. That's the treasure, so I guess I'm kind of heading in that direction anyway. Maybe I'll see it at some point. But it does clear up that space in my inventory, which is good. We have survived 1 hour and 50 minutes into this night, so we're about a third of the way through. We still have plenty to do, so don't worry. Also, if you don't have a candle like I do, you can use your torch and hold it, or you can put it against a wall. Plenty of light there. And the light, I'm not sure if that light actually attracts zombies. I know that a forge would, for example. Okay, so now I've got these wood frames. The game wants me to place 3 wood frames and then complete them. So you'll take your axe out and you'll right click 4 times on each of them. And you can recover your wood there if you'd like, but I'm just gonna Not. Okay, and then finally it wants me to do a campfire, and that's the one I was hoping for. Okay, so with the campfire, we're going to be able to do some stuff. Okay. I'm probably never going to come back here, but if I do, there'll always be this campfire here. Now, what you want to do with a campfire... Throw some logs on. Actually, I could use... Why don't I use the coal, because it's less useful to me in coal form. You hear these weird noises at night. It is kind of creepy. I'm just doing a quick peek to see if I see any zombies wandering around. Now, just because you see a zombie doesn't mean they see you. That yucca plant really looks like a zombie, doesn't it? Yeah, the way those plants move in the shadows, it's very freaky. This is a very insecure place to spend the night. If you're a first-time player, I wouldn't recommend spending the night in a tent. But if you crouch, which by the way, I push control to crouch there. Okay, so I've got a few different things I can do, but the first thing to keep in mind is that you need to put this cooking pot here, and you need to put this cooking grill here. Now the cooking pot's going to enable me to do bottled water. I think the cooking grill is what I need for these boiled eggs. I could be wrong. But the eggs I need... So let's start out with the water, because I need the water for my eggs. But these are the only two recipes I can do at this campfire right now, just because I don't have a lot of ingredients right now in this early stage of the game. Now you do want to be careful, because when that fire lights up, that does create a little bit of attention for zombies. But it's very minimal, and as long as you don't stay here very long, like multiple days, theoretically it's going to be negligible. But every time one of those processes, you'll have another bottle of water. I'm going to end up with 17. Then I'm going to turn around and use 9 of them for these eggs. And then we'll have a decent source of food as well. Unfortunately, I've found myself carrying a lot of seeds. I don't really like that. Seeds kind of defeat the purpose of a nomadic existence. So I may ditch some of the seeds that I don't need that much, like the aloe vera. It's just nice to have, because you can use aloe to make medicated bandages, which are better than other bandages, like regular bandages. See, right now I've got a first aid bandage. It cures bleeding out, and it does restore some health. Let me show you this. Bandage just stops you from bleeding. First aid bandage gives you health, and it has aloe cream. So that's why we like the aloe, but that is the sole purpose, and it is not that important for me right now. Okay, so I'm going to grab those, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the eggs ordered up. Ooh, we're out of fuel. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to have the rest of this turn into water. I'm going to have a few empties when I'm done. And theoretically what I should do is I should go down to the lake before I leave, get some murky water and fill it up with bottled water. Although, frankly, I really don't need to do that because I'm going to be able to get in some yucca and stuff. I really don't need to do that. And it is going to be daytime in 2 hours and 30 minutes, so I think I probably won't have much time to do that if I want to get moving right away in the morning. Okay, so what else can we do? Well, we can talk about the trader. Okay, so the trader, there are many traders on the map. It's like a store. The one it wants me to go to is here. I guess I should do that. As much as I'd rather actually go up to my goal settlement destination, I think it's probably better for me to swing over to the trader now since I'm relatively close. That's probably 1.5 to 2 hours of game time travel, so it'll take up most of my morning, but I think it's worth it. Now I'm not going to actually do much, if any, trading when I get there, but The trader is a mechanic in the game. It's a game mechanic is what I mean. It's not a character mechanic. Okay, 1 minute and 26 left on those. That's gonna be about perfect. So you can go to the trader. You can spend like these tokens and stuff, and then buy things like guns and whatnot. It is pretty expensive, but it's pretty easy to get casino chips, which is the currency, once you start manufacturing things. So it's not too bad. Pretty difficult to use at this stage of the game, though. Grab that water. Generally speaking, I do like to keep my most essential items at the top of my toolbar here. So I'm going to put these eggs next to my water. Boy, you know what? I just realized something. I'm not getting my bottles of water back after I took these eggs, am I? So I've got 8 bottles of water. It's going to cook 2 more eggs. And I started out with like what should have been 17 bottles of water, and then so 9. Ooh, now it's telling me I'm overheating. So what I could do is I could drink this water. Once this gets done cooking, I'm gonna turn this off, grab my wood back, grab my cooking pot, grab my cooking grill, and grab my eggs. And then, I could, by the way, scrap that into broken glass and then make another jar later. It's a little bit inefficient to do that, but yeah. I can grab this candle back. Still got 1, 2, 3 slots in my inventory. I could grab the torch. I guess I will. I'll try to remember to grab that in a minute. One thing I could do if I'm sneaky enough is I could go out here and grab those remaining feathers. I don't want to run into a running zombie. I could also start chopping away at these piles of logs. Yeah, I don't see any zombies, and I'm pretty sure my nest that I left unharvested was over here somewhere. You know, this is really not worth it. This is super dangerous. Not recommended for first-time players. The good news is, I guess the one saving grace about what I'm doing here is that the first night, the zombies are not that bad. As you can see, there don't really appear to be any. And we only have an hour left, so... Oh. Yeah, because I thought I was getting attacked. It was just the cactus. Okay. Oops. There we go. Okay. So I did get those feathers that I wanted. I'm not seeing any zombies around, so I'm going to risk chopping at this tree a little bit. Interesting animation of it breaking apart like that. But I am running low. I don't even know about low, but I'm running lower than is convenient on wood. So if I can harvest up some wood. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to check this stump, didn't I? Okay, blood bag. It's okay. I mean, I don't think they're that useful for traveling, so I'm just going to eat it, which is kind of gross, but it's like a very low-level food at this point in the game. You can use them to make, I think, med kits later. We're not going to be in a position to make med kits for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and not retain that ingredient for now. I'll retain it later. Okay, so, and by the way, for those wondering, I should have said this from the outset, this is 16.4. So it's after that update 16 that had all the electrical parts and changed a little bit of the crafting mechanics. Oh, you know what? I've got a little bit of time left here at night. You know what I'm going to do? let's talk about character development here. Go back into my little hidden cove here. Push in to access your character skills area. I don't know why it's in. There's a bunch of them. What I'd recommend, there's a few that are really important. I have 11 points available because I'm level, I think I'm level 3. There's the infamous Sexual Tyrannosaurus, which is a stamina boost, so I'm going to buy one of those. And then there's Miner 69er, which gives you a boost to your mining. I'm going to go ahead and save that one remaining point. But that'll give me, this will increase the speed at which I harvest things with an axe and a pickaxe. And then the Sexual Tyrannosaurus will just increase my stamina regeneration overall. So those are the two that I'd recommend starting out with and maxing out as soon as you can as you go through this. There's other good ones too, but those are the two that are really important. And actually, you can already tell that I'm chopping this tree a lot quicker. Okay, that music means it's daytime, so I'm going to stand right back up as if I'm ready to take on the world. Eventually, my construction tool skills are going to increase enough that when I create an axe, it's going to be a higher value than this 25. The game used to actually have increments, very specific, 1 through whatever increments of tools. Now it's just, it seems to be like 25 is the standard, type of number that you see. So yeah, I'm just harvesting a little bit more of this wood before I go, just to have. But I really don't need to do this. This is just a little bonus. Let me just get this last one here. This will be the last one. Or you know what? Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and create arrows while I travel today. So I'm going to go to, and I'm now out of stone. So, let me grab this torch. Okay, and let's go. So today, I'd like to travel down here. So south and east. That way. And you can see it on the little directional indicator. I'm going to travel through the desert, pick up a couple of these yuccas as we go, and create a yucca juice and drink it. I'm going to choose to not gather eggs today. Let's see, where are we at? 4, can I... Yeah, perfect, okay. And then no more yucca. I really don't want to get more yucca. I'm guessing the trader is associated with those buildings off in the distance. So let's just try to get over there as quickly as possible. And you know what you might want to do in this situation? When your stamina gets a little bit low and you're not going to be able to continue running, you might just grab a beer at that point. Makes sense, right? You want to use, like, when... Ooh. Hi. She's, like, really aggressive. Like, she's moving a lot faster. Zombies move at, like, different speeds. It's hard to know exactly what causes certain zombies to move faster. I know the ones at night obviously move very fast. But there's these zombies called feral zombies. I'm not sure if she qualifies as one or not. I think she was just a normal zombie, but ferals are very... they move quickly. Okay, so is that the gas station? I think that's the gas station there. And I need to go that direction. Okay. So... I'm going to go ahead and use a beer. And yeah. That's going to help me with my stamina. And get me to this trader a lot faster. Unfortunately, because we've been so thorough in our collection of resources periodically throughout this journey so far, I really don't feel the urgency of collecting more resources as we go. Like yucca. I mean, I guess I'll do feathers still. But maybe feathers until I get to 250. 250 being the maximum number of feathers you can have. I am really, the only loot that I'd really consider getting at this point are more metal, more wood, and gun, like good, not just any, but like actual good gun parts. I guess, should I do this house real quick? Oh yeah, some of these houses are unlocked. Grab this candle. This is basically a clone of the very first house I looted, except for it has more things to search. I'm gonna go ahead and start scrapping bottled murky water. I don't really need it, and it's just easier inventory management to use it as a. I really want that, but it's too inconvenient. Okay, and now I'm level 3, so I have more points to spend. Yeah, skills. There's this, the camel, which slows thirst. And then there's something called, is it run? No, that's sexual transfers. There's quality Joe. I wonder, I can't afford that. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do scavenger. This increases the chance for better loot. Let's do a couple points in that, I guess. I'm gonna save the other 2 points at this point. Whoa, there's a freaking canyon. That could have been bad. Wow, that's really cool though. What is that? Do you need to zoom in, by the way? Let me scrap these before I forget. You can use your bow and right click. That appears to be a mine shaft. I really want to see what that is. That is a particularly difficult to defeat zombie there. I'm gonna finish going to this trader, but then hang on. Oh, you need to push R to load your arrows, by the way. It's actually a more potent weapon than the club. I'll scrap that bandage. Okay, so let's just go to the trader, but let me see what that canyon. Yeah, so there's the canyon. So I may try to stop back there on the way back. I may not. But yeah, this is a quintessential trader looking area. And I believe he opens up maybe at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So I might actually have to wait for him. Really should keep that. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is, each trader is a little bit different, and depending on if they're near where you want to have your base, it can actually be very advantageous for certain types of traders to be present. So I'm getting that quest, and the quest chain is now complete, so I don't need to do any more quests. Okay, he's open. So these guys, I mean, they have like these vending machines that you can, I think that's for like community games where you can sell stuff. You can loot you can loot this trader as well. I mean, you might as well. They've got these little rooms with stuff in them, so I can scrap these. By the way, the next kind of thing, other resource that you might want to kind of keep your eye out for is leather. You're gonna need 20 leather, 50 clay, 50 stone, and 2 short iron pipes for a forge. Let's scrap that now. The forge being a very, very important technological progression thing. We will be visiting the actual shop, which is there in just a second, but I'm going to finish looting first. Trader is a safe area, by the way. Like, there's a mechanic in this game that prevents zombies from spawning here, and so you're pretty safe to really look around. And it feels kind of nice. I might just take that. I'll scrap that. If you're running lower on water than I am, you might consider taking those murky waters rather than scrapping them, because you can easily convert them into bottled water, like I did overnight. Okay, and then we've got this control area for the trader. I'm gonna scrap that padlock. You might want to keep that padlock. Scrap those. The padlock can be used on a mini bike, and especially on a multiplayer server, that can be useful. I went ahead and learned that iron, or was it leather, leg armor recipe by just reading it, which is what you should do if you get your hands on a recipe. Looking off in this direction, there appears to be a town of some sort. Interesting stuff. Okay. By the way, you notice that my inventory is basically full, and yet I am somehow magically not running out of space very often, and it's simply because I'm scrapping everything, and I know what I need to keep and what I need to scrap, and so that's how you do that. These are like this. I feel like these are like makeshift hotel rooms that this guy rents out. Okay, so here's one thing. Now this is a destroyed cement mixer, so it's not usable, but sometimes they have usable ones that you can use. That's one of the crafting stations in this game. This is the chemistry. It's just, unfortunately, it's destroyed too. They have chrysanthemum here. I'm not gonna grab that, but you could grab that if you wanted to. The chemistry station, you can't even build one yourself until you're level, I think it's 50 or something. So if you find that these, and this forge is actually a working forge. So I could actually make some stuff here. I'm not going to, but just, you know, in your game, if you come across a trading outpost, I mean, if all three of those have been working, the cement mixer, the chemistry station, and the forge, what a celebration you should think about having at that point, because that saves you a lot of effort.
You like?
Okay, so here we are at the trader. Now, you can sell things. It might make sense for me to sell this receiver. I think I might actually sell this cloth. Cloth is so common in this game that you really don't need it. Can I sell these jars? Yeah, I can sell these jars. I'm not going to need more than 7, I don't think. I'm going to get 6 times 8 theoretically, so 48. No, but my bartering skills are not that good, so did not get 48 for that. Let me sell this plastic. I'm going to keep these. Keep all that. Can I sell these? No, I cannot. Sometimes you need at least 5 of an item to sell it. Okay, well, can I sell these? Yeah, I guess I'll sell those. So you can just like wander around the desert, gather aloe vera, and sell it. Okay, so that I made a little bit of a profit. You know, 40 bucks or so. Now, what can I buy? Well, not a lot. I mean, the truth is that I can't really buy that much with this small amount of money. Quality, by the way, is here. Purple is the best, blue is the second best, green, yellow, orange, brown. What you might consider buying if you had the chance would be something like this. That is a item that's going to be a little tricky to get later in the game. Also, the schematics, until later in the game, I mean. The schematics are good too, because once you learn something, you know it, regardless of if you die.
Safe travels.
But for now, I'm just going to say I use this trader to make a little money and get rid of a bunch of excess equipment. So, not that good, but not that bad. Okay, so I do want to go back to the northwest now. I think I'm going to head in a slightly more westerly trajectory. Oops. I do not like that. Yeah, I'm going to continue to not pick up eggs. Let me get some more stone here. Now, I want more stone because I can continue making arrows, and I feel like, realistically, that's my best bet for defense over that club for now. As you should too, probably, if you're playing along. Alright. I'm not sure if that beer is still affecting me. It looks like maybe it's not. So, after I get this, boulders have like 3 life stages, and this is going to be going into the 3rd. So I'm just going to move on. And I'm running out of stamina. I might consider another beer. You know, beer's not a crucial resource. You can probably go ahead and not collect the beer. What I should think about doing is eating a little bit, or you know what I could do is I could actually take these. Why don't I just take these? Got 2 more down there. Probably gonna need something to drink with this as well. But the painkiller should get me going with, let me grab 4 more yucca. Painkiller should help with my hit points here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy, this zombie is really struggling. Well, her pain, my gain. I'm gonna go ahead and bop her. She literally lost a leg to that cactus. Ooh, what? Oh, I'm the painkiller. I thought I got infected. Okay, go ahead and eat that. Grab that, and I'm gonna have to drop that can. If it was in an inventory, I could easily scrap it. But how many yuccas do I have? 4. Okay. Craft that. If I really wanted to be frugal, I would. Yeah, I'd pick this can up and scrap it. Scrapping that can just adds to my iron. The iron is going to be really important. Every time I drink a bottle of water or something, I seem to be replacing it, filling it back up with yucca juice, which is even better than water. I'm only going to collect feathers until I get. Oops, sorry. Ow! Gotta stop doing that. Until I get to 250, and then I'm not going to waste another inventory slot for feathers. Feathers are pretty common, so you can usually find them if you're willing to put just even a minimal effort into it. Go ahead and eat that as well. As you can see, my hunger is now 48%. That's not bad. It could be a lot better. A lot of times zombies will have food on them, so just keep that in mind. If you're one-on-one with a zombie, it's pretty easy to kill them with a melee weapon. If it's more than one-on-one, then you might consider switching to range or running. Here we are at this place. I'm going to grab one of my eggs. Let's grab that. And let's go ahead and drink that. Then I do need 4 more yucca now. Wow, that is a drop. Oh, shit. Boy, these bird nests are everywhere. Make some more arrows. And then I do need to repair this. I'll need to repair that. But I don't have any stone, do I? Ooh, that's a mistake. I need to find stone right away. there's another bird. I don't like that. And we'll get that yucky juice filled back up. Unfortunately, my melee weapon is busy being crafted right now. That's neat. See, this is the cool thing about this particular map. That just doesn't happen on a random map. It requires a certain level of finesse that procedural generation just can't really do very well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and repair this guy. And now the goal is to figure out how to get down into that canyon. I am heat stroking pretty bad right now. I'm gonna drink this. Can I drink it? I can't. Okay. For some reason it wasn't letting me drink it. Okay. That should help cool me off a bit. I am still in danger of dying of heat stroke. You know, I just realized I left my bedroll at that tent. That's okay. It's probably better that way because if I do die, that's where I'll spawn. That's a lot closer than some random location in the world. I am really, really doing bad on heat stroke. And one thing you can do if that happens is you can just take anything that has any insulation value and just scrap it. Scrap that. What about this? Insulation. Scrap that. Yeah, I'm just scrapping all of these armor pieces because they're just insulating me and they don't protect me that much, so I'm gonna try to have some of this. As long as I keep drinking yucca juice, I should be okay. Kinda wish I hadn't made them all into seeds now. My stamina is really suffering from this heat stroke situation though. So I'm going to take cover in this house for a second, try to cool down. Now this is a common thing in this game, in the desert, is this heat stroke issue. So what you want to do is you want to take shelter, you want to adjust your clothing like I just did. Okay, now I'm back to stage 1 heat stroke, which is good, that's progress. Craft some yucca juice, have some water. You just want to make sure you're full on liquids as well, because that's going to drop your temp down quite a bit. I was at 120, now I'm at 116. I'm full on water. Yeah, it's still going down. And then you can just find a roof to chill at for a second. There's a guy. This guy's going crazy. You do want to try to go for headshots. It's a little hard from this distance, so I'm going for center of mass. Headshots are generally more effective. This guy, it's like he doesn't even know I'm here. Oh, and we got the airplane. The airplane is going to come by every day now. Get an airdrop. There's the airdrop. I'm just wasting arrows. I'm down to 104 now. Temp-wise, which is good. This guy's tough. Oh yeah, he was tough. grab a few more rocks. I'm down to 99. I feel a lot better temp-wise. Gonna grab a couple more yuccas. The yucca drink is actually, I think it's kind of like specifically designed to try to keep you cool, and that's why it is in the desert. That's why we like it. I'm gonna go ahead and scrap both of these. These are gun parts now. Normally I might be interested in keeping gun parts, but since I'm in my nomadic phase right now, I'm gonna not try to, unless they're really, 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 really good gun parts, just not keep them very often. Okay, so let's just do that, and that should give us 4 more yuccas, and then we'll be good. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then bunch of those. Grab these feather. Oh, no feathers. For what it's worth, the mini map is going to show where that airdrop landed. It actually landed exactly in my trajectory of where I want to go today. So we're going to head right there. But before we do, I do want to check out this mine down here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this right over here. Now I'm going to start by going to this building. Just out of an educated guess that maybe the way to access that mine is through this building. But it may well not be. We will have to see. Okay, so this looks to be a water pump. I'm at 89 degrees, I'm okay with that. A little bit of a slope. I don't really want to fall. If you fall, you can break your leg, you can certainly die. That's interesting. Very interesting indeed. Ooh, you know what? I might get a mining helmet out of this. Mining helmet, duct tape, and a flashlight to make a headlamp helmet, which is a very, very useful item. One of the most useful items, especially in the early game, but in general, because then it gives you light at night. You don't have to use a torch or anything. Stay naked for now. Okay, and no mining helmet there, sadly. I may go explore that building, but I'm gonna try going this way first. Interesting. This appears to be like a broken down conveyor belt. Scrap both of those. Not really sure. Don't really understand it. I'm gonna try getting inside. I'm good on feathers. Unfortunately, this is a very secure door, so it may take me a minute. Actually, it's arguably faster. Well, it might be faster to let the zombie do the work for me there. It might be faster to just actually make a hole in the wall, though. Little pro tip here. Gonna make a hole in the wall instead of the door if the door is very secure. Boy, that zombie's loud. Trying to get me? You can chop down these cactuses too. They are annoying. You get fibers. I don't know where this guy is. The underground? I can't place the sound, and I don't see him in there. Oh, there he is. I'm so worried about other zombies popping up behind me. Okay, well, we took a hit there. Not good. Okay, drink. Drink that. I might be running out of space, which is not ideal, because I do want to keep those Yeah, I do want to keep those bottles. So, tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this coal. Okay, let's head on in. Have an egg as well. The egg will hopefully heal me a little bit. You want to constantly kind of be like trying to heal yourself. Okay, we have a destroyed workbench. Ooh, forged iron. That is a good resource to have. Oh yeah, let's scrap that, and then I can scrap the hubcap as well. Forged iron is what's going to allow me to, in the not too distant future, build a pickaxe and stuff like that. Okay, let's kill this guy. Got him. Okay, mushroom spore, fine, and then you can actually, I'll show you. I'll put these in here, take the glue, and then you can make duct tape using glue and cloth. And then I can actually grab it. So that's gonna, where is he? I hear you. Where is the guy? There's definitely a zombie somewhere. It scares me when I don't know where they are. Just looting real quick. Maybe he's down. Look at that. Oh, I see. There's a path. Okay, we're gonna kill him. This must be how you get to the mine. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. Can I just crawl? No, I cannot. How do you get down there? I have to, it looks like I'm gonna have to break either this or that. I guess this is easier. I think I can avoid the horde if I just go down here. I just got out in just a nick of time there, didn't I? Wow, this is such an interesting little odyssey that I'm on. I'd like to keep that, but I can't. I'm very worried about that horde that appears to be chasing me. There's different mechanics that this game uses to figure out whether a zombie horde is going to chase you. Look at this little area. This is so cool. Alright. I wonder if you can almost make this into like a base. Oh, one of them made it. Good on you for making it all the way down here. Alright. She might have fallen. There's a lot of little trash piles and stuff. Oh, these little guys. Let's go ahead and bang them with an axe until they break. And they usually turn into some sort of counter or something that can be searched. And then just go ahead and grab your stuff. Scrap those. Yeah, I've never been down here before. Again, this appears to be a custom-built little area. So it's really cool. Oops. That's actually a quest. I should have kept that. You know what? I can still save that. Interesting. And there's like veins of ore too. Like that's some sort of ore, like lead or something. Okay. So there's that quest again. Now, one thing I could easily do to make room for it is get rid of my rocks. So let's do that. Okay. So now we've got this quest. Now you can read it. And it's gonna bring up this thing. Listen, fucker, the only reason you're not dead is 'cause I like you. Kill some special infected zombies. Sure, why not? You know, there's these little quests like this, and hopefully this doesn't send a mob of crazy zombies after me. But, you know, I think you can get rewards. I haven't looked around at the quests that much, to be honest. Ooh, potato seed. I really do want that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the cooking grill. You can actually forge those later, so... There's mushrooms there. I could get more mushroom spores from that, I think. I feel very secure down here, actually. Ooh, painting. You can read about painting, and it allows you to create those paintings. I'm sure I'll find or be able to craft a good wire tool in the future, so I'm not worried about that. That's for the new electricity stuff in this game. Alright. Let's see how the zombies are doing. I feel very secure from them down here. So yeah, the idea of making this a base is actually a really good idea. I don't. It's too inconvenient to make that into duct tape right now. I want to get over to that, so I may have to work on that. Now this stuff, if you harvest it, turns into nitrate powder, which is very useful. So I'd recommend coming back here when you have a good tool for that. And then these mushrooms, I'm gonna go ahead and craft into mushroom spores. I need dirt to do that, so I need 1 dirt. Can I just... Yeah, I'm gonna bite the bullet and get rid of this forged iron. I hate to do that. Yeah, I'm getting nothing but sand from digging that. So tell you what, I'm just gonna eat the mushrooms. I've already got the spores. You can eat these raw, and there's no harmful health effect. Interesting. So you got some ores, you got some broken wooden objects down there, and I'm concerned about the zombies coming down while I'm underwater. This is a munitions crate, so this is usually going to contain gun parts. Again, I'm only going to take exquisite, excellent gun parts. I'd much rather have some sort of tool right now. That's just not good enough. So I'm going to scrap that. It's okay, like if I were in the mood to create guns, I'd use it certainly, but I think what I'm going to do to get out of here is make a few wood frames. It's just a good technique all around. I'm going to do 6 and put them in my bar, and then we're just going to create a little thing. That, and that. How about, can I jump up here? It doesn't look like it. Can I go lower? Yes, I can. Okay, so that should help. There we go. Okay, perfect. Oh boy, we got a friend. Oh, we got a couple friends. They appear to be confused. Very concerned about other zombies popping out from behind. a lot of lag. This is probably a fairly intense area to render. And there's like physics engine stuff involved and structural soundness. So I can see that. This guy's tough. I'm not quite getting headshots, but still, he's tough. There's an arm shot. There we go. Wow. Surprised I haven't gotten a hard hat yet. I really want a hard hat. Okay, that looks particularly dangerous. I wonder what's down there. Okay, we'll take a look in this box here. Looks like a refrigerator. It's a weird place for a refrigerator. Okay, see if I can ambush this guy. Got him. He's dead. That looks like a nitrate vein. A lot of these utility worker zombies. Leave that. More nitrate vein. Take that. Read that. Okay, nitrate. Okay, and then we'll check out this. Got another zombie there. I think those guys that came along up top are still trying to figure out their way down here. Okay, he's dead. And check this out. We can just do some duct tape. That glue to keep the inventory sorted out. Oh, here's an interesting development. This is going to be to that canyon, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to go for these weaker wood panels rather than having to cut through the metal. Can I get through there? Sure. Okay. Nope. I like that. What if I just got rid of this? Hopefully it doesn't cause the whole cave system to come down and collapse on me. Okay, so we're on this rickety little balcony. And I believe I saw another cave entrance below here. There's a chest right there. That's interesting. I really want to go check that out. So let's get rid of... boy. Hey, well, I'm going to scrap this, and we're just going to do a new one. X. Oh, I need more stone, don't I? Oh, yikes. Should not have done that. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay. Well, I should not have scrapped that axe. Is there anything else I can scrap to get stone? What happens if you scrap an arrow? You get wood, not stone. I guess the thing to do would be to try to find some stone and punch it. I'm far too nervous to jump down there. I guess maybe I'll have to come back for that. Hate to admit that, but that's where we're at. Okay, so let's just get out of here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just do the rest of this off camera, exiting back to the surface at this point. It's been a long video. I'm going to go ahead and cut here, but we'll pick it up next time on 7 Days to Die. Thank you so much for watching all the way through, and we will see you on the next exciting adventure as we start outside of the mine next time.